NASCAR Xfinity Series qualifying is officially concluded from Sonoma Raceway, and Shane Van Gisbergen has won his second Xfinity Series pole of 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, NASCAR Xfinity Series qualifying has officially concluded from Sonoma Raceway, and Shane Van Gisbergen has won his second Xfinity Series pole of 2025. This also is his fourth pole across the board in 2025, as he has two Cup Series poles currently at the moment, those coming in Mexico City and Chicago, and of course he won the pole for the Xfinity Series race at the Chicago Street Course, and now gets his fourth pole of the year. Coming this weekend, Shane Van Gisbergen was the absolute favorite to win the pole and dominate and win the race. He looks to do what he did last week, win the pole for both the Cup and Xfinity race, and win both races, win the Cup and Xfinity Series race on the same weekend, and sweep and go 4 in a row across the board. Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, dominated this race last year in really dominating fashion. He had to beat some really hard chargers of Austin Hill and a couple other guys throughout the field in the event, and he's going to have some really tough competition going to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race tomorrow, but I think he's absolutely going to be up for the challenge. His car was really strong and really fast in the race, and again, I think it's going to be really tough for this field to beat him. I think there's definitely some good competition. I don't think there's any question about that. I think the field is definitely somewhat close, but then when you look at the practice speeds in particular and look how strong the field is super not even close at this point, and I think it's going to be really tough to beat someone like Shane Van Gisbergen in the race tomorrow. He didn't even do a mock qualifying run, and at one point was nearly a second faster than the second place car, and none of those guys were on mock qualifying runs. When they were on mock qualifying runs, he was the third quickest overall in the practice session, but he jumped up and was really fast, especially on the short run. He never really did a long run during a practice session, so we don't really know how good the long run speed is for SVG, but I'd have to think that the long run speed is really good, and if anything's like the qualifying speed that he showed today in the session, I think it's going to be really tough and really difficult to beat that driver, because again, I think he is absolutely the favorite to pick up the win and get the victory. It's going to be really tough to beat him. The car was really strong, really fast, and good to see him get it done, because he has been super strong and really quick in the Xfinity races that he ran. Of course, he'll be running Watkins Glen, which I think will have a good shot, though I think Connor Zilch has more of a chance and opportunity to win there than he does this weekend. We'll talk about Connor here in just a minute. But every time he gets behind the wheel of a road course, you know he's going to be the absolute favorite to go out there and win the pole and be the guy to beat. So nonetheless, congratulations to him on winning another pole in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and getting it done and picking up a win and well-deserved victory. So now we'll go ahead and look at the top 10 qualifiers for the session, talk about some notable drivers that did struggle in qualifying. So Shane Van Gisbergen wins the pole. Connor Zilch qualifies second. Once again, these two are going to be on the front row like they were at the end of the event last time at Chicago. We both had a little bit of contact near the end of the event. Connor Zilch, I think, is the biggest threat against Shane Van Gisbergen. He's really the only guy that could keep up with SVG in practice throughout the day, and Connor thinks still has a really great chance and strong opportunity to get it done. He's looking for his third win of the season and his second road course victory of the year and his third ever road course win in Xfinity Series competition. Connor's going to have a really strong and fast car as well. The JRM cars are really strong this weekend too, so I expect him to be very good. He'll be starting in second position. Sam Mayer qualified third. Not as strong in practice, but his qualifying speed very strong. The 41 looked really good out there at times today, and I think he'll be a solid pick for a potential win. He usually was really good against SPG as well last year in some of the road course races. He beat him at Charlotte last year, so he'll be starting in third. Great job for Sam Mayer. Jesse Love qualified fourth. Solid top 5 starting spot for Jesse Love. I think Jesse Love could be someone to watch out for sure. Good speed today. He'll be starting in fourth. Good job for Jesse Love. Sammy Smith qualified in fifth. Good job for Sammy Smith. Qualifying inside the top 5. He's definitely improved on the road courses in particular. I didn't really think he was that good of a road racer, to be perfectly honest, but he did a really solid job, all things considered, and is starting inside the top 5 with some pretty good speed. Good job for him. Carson qualified 6th, kind of like Circuit Americas, where he was really impressive. He's also getting really impressive this weekend. Really good speed in qualifying. Starters at the top 10. The junior motorsports cars all look really strong this weekend so far. He'll be starting in the top 10 and 6th. Good job for Carson Quaffle. Brandon Jones qualified 7th. He has definitely improved. He did some Trans Am racing not too long ago to try to help him get better, and it's paying off so far as he's starting inside the top 10. I don't really think of Brandon Jones as someone that is a great road course racer. No offense to Brandon Jones, but he's not someone that I do expect to be a major factor and strong contender on road courses. So for him to do a really good job this weekend, that was definitely really impressive. Sheldon Creed qualified 8th. Sheldon Creed, I always expect to be a big threat at these types of tracks. Had a little bit of a slower lap, almost a second behind the field, but still 8th place, good for Creed, all things considered. Had a great run last week at Chicago. He'll be starting inside the top 10 in 8th. Justin Allgaier qualified 9th. You can never count Justin Allgaier out. Every time Justin Allgaier races in this series, he's always really good regardless of the type of track we go to, whether it's super speedways, road courses, all that. He'll be starting in 9th. Great job for Justin Allgaier. And Austin Hill qualifies in 10th and last of the top 10. I think he is absolutely going to be a pretty big factor and one to watch out for, because he's going to be really, really strong in this race. I think he's absolutely someone that everyone is sleeping on, and I think a lot of people probably should not be sleeping on Austin Hill at this point, because Austin Hill's been really strong and really good at these types of tracks. So notable guys that did not make the top 10 in qualifying: Austin Green, who I think is someone who's actually really good at road course racing in general. He didn't have the best qualifying lap, but he made the field. The other Austin Hill, Austin J. Hill, unfortunately failed to qualify. He kind of looks like Sketch's long-lost brother, if I'm going to be honest. But honestly, Austin J. Hill did okay in practice. He was able to, unfortunately, got beat by like Parker Westside, Brad President, those guys. Austin J. Hill, because of that, is going home. I was surprised to see Nick Sanchez struggle as much as he did, considering how well he ran at Chicago last week. I thought he'd be more factor in this qualifying session. He just made too many mistakes in the qualifying session and faded back quite a bit. Some of the other JGR cars, Taylor Gray, he had a decent lap, but he will unfortunately have to go to the rear of the field because of an engine change. Williams Walsh was the fastest of the first group, and he will be looking to win the race later, coming up here in just a short little bit. Unfortunately, just didn't have the best lap because he was in the first group, and usually the guys in the first group have a little bit of disadvantage compared to the people in the second group. But I gotta say, that's really the big notables there. And Harrison Burton did have a decent lap. Not the best lap, but did have a decent lap. Better Haley Deegan's done in that car, I should say. So he did all right. So those are the notable qualifiers from here. Let's talk about the drivers who are the favorites and one to watch out for. First, what to keep your eyes on during the race. I think it's going to be very treacherous. This track has definitely lost a lot of grip since it repaved last year, and there's not as much grip on the racetrack. A lot of drivers were getting off the racetrack. A lot of drivers were getting sideways. So I expect a lot of these guys, while I do think there's not going to be as many mistakes as we saw in practice, I think some guys are going to struggle quite a bit throughout the event, and you're going to have a good handling race car to contend for the win. I think right now there's two odds-on favorites to win. I think it's between Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen for the win. They have been two fastest cars so far this week, show really good speed in practice. I think one of those two more than likely will be your Victor. I'm leaning toward SVG winning, but if you have contact like we saw last week at Chicago between us two guys, I then think Connor can beat him, but I think SVG has the fastest car currently at the moment, but I think Connor's good. I think Sam Mayer has some good speed this week, and Sheldon Creed shows some pretty good speed in practice. Jesse Love looked really good out there times, and the JRM cars all look really strong and showed some really good speed in the qualifying session as well. They all had some pretty good speed, definitely for sure. So, that is going to be it for reactions to qualifying from the NASCAR Xfinity race. It might have been Group 2, I'm not sure on that, but that is going to be reactions to Xfinity Series qualifying from Sonoma Raceway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's qualifying session. Your thoughts on today's qualifying session, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulations, Shane Van Gisbergen on winning another pole in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on a road course. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, there's supposed to be a Junior Motorsports announcement that's coming out. If it's a big enough announcement, you should be seeing a video on that. We're going to have reactions to Cup qualifying, depending on who wins the pole for that. And then, of course, we'll have the Xfinity race review. And then on Sunday, we'll start in line of video and the Cup Series race review as well. And then on Monday, we'll likely have a NASCAR news. We're going to talk more about the lawsuit because there was an update on the 2011 in Front Row Motorsports lawsuit earlier today on them filing another preliminary injunction or having a motion to file a preliminary injunction at this point, with Michael Jordan being involved in that as well. We got content coming out, people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carlos Kerbush, Cobblish, Bo Wallace, Ross Chastain, Clea Safar, Dodge Ram, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, like I said, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Junior Motorsports, Red Bull, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, all the good stuff. We'll be talking about that on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.